This is Black Albinism, a community-based social enterprise based in Nairobi, Kenya. Since its establishment in 2018, Black Albinism has used the power of media to create awareness about albinism. In this series, you will get a clear glimpse in creating a winning social campaign. This is a Mask for a Match campaign. So good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for making time to have this brainstorming session on the project that we are doing. But before we start, we would like you guys, let's share a little bit of how Corona is taking you, because so many people have been disrupted, lives have been disrupted, jobs have been lost. Yeah, on a personal basis, starting from my far right, how is everything on your end?
Well, there have been a lot of effects with regards to COVID-19, not only here in Kenya, but globally as well. As we can see, people have lost their jobs, people have experienced pay cuts. Health-wise, the health systems are struggling. Business-wise, businesses have collapsed, with employers having to send their employees home.
Yeah.
So it's really a very trying time for everyone.
Yeah, very trying. My friend.
As my colleague has just talked about that, this COVID-19 also, you can see that most of the people, they are forced to go to the rural areas simply because they are unable to pay the rent. And more so, you see that, as he has just mentioned about the employees, you find that many of them are going for unpaid leave. And nevertheless, you see also, when it comes also to business, many people are, let's say, for example, you have the PSVs. Most of the people are forced to park their vehicles simply because
People are not moving around.
People are not moving around.
And
most
they even
often
don't have the money to pay for the services.
Yeah, exactly. And when you see that, even if they are not moving around, if they even when they want to go from a certain place to another place, the fare is being hiked. And also in terms of the fuel, you see also at some extent, the things are always at the high price. So that makes the people to be living at a standard that they are not capable of due to this COVID-19.
Well, very interesting, and I would like to share, before I share a personal experience, from my far right, that's Clinton on Twitter. He's the CFO at Black Albinism, and this one is my good friend Alan Kipruto. He's our videographer and camera guy at Black Albinism. So gentlemen, I really concur with you based on the experiences that you have witnessed, or on a personal basis or on a broader perspective. But there is this one big other effects that are coming with COVID-19, and COVID-19 has showed a lot of social inequities that are happening in the society currently. And as I would like you guys to give me what you think. Recently, the Kenyan government gave statistics of how teenage pregnancies are on the rise. Guys, what do you think?
Well, okay. On my end, I can say that this pandemic has rendered people. Okay, the ideally is most people are very idle, and as they say, an idle mind is a devil's workshop.
That's a very interesting way to put it.
Yeah, so you find that people have too much spare time on their hands, given the restrictions that the government has put in place, and also given that social gatherings have also been at the moment. So I just feel that people have a lot of time to their hands, and instead of using this time constructively, people are really abusing
the free time that they have on their hands. Okay, you mentioning that there is a lot of free time on people's hands. Keep, what do you think that people can do in this free time? Because school used to play the gap. Yeah, used to fill that gap. You send your child to school and they are occupied. As parents are with their kids at home right now, what do you think are some of the things that they could implement?
At the moment, as parents, most often what you must do to avoid those, let's say, for example, the teenage pregnancies. Most often, you should, let's say, when you have the children are at home, most of take them to a place that you can even employ a teacher that can always be teaching them, let's say, each day or thrice a day. or even twice a day,
Yeah.
so that at least they can be kept busy. And also if there's some work around the home that can make them be busy, because most often we find that they are going and loitering or walking, let's say, in the town. So you should make them be around home.
Yeah, and to poke a little bit of holes in what you've said, and I'm not being selective about different estates here in Nairobi, looking at the way pipeline is set up. Yeah, the amount of congestion that is there, and involving your kids in probably things to do around the house, I think that could be sort of a limitation. But hey, let's leave the work to the government and the Ministry of Education. I hope pretty soon they find solutions to these lasting problems. Now, why we are here is albinism has been associated, or persons with albinism are being associated with being carriers of the COVID-19 virus. Alan, have you had such stories? And there is a prominent media house that did a story about this. Perhaps what's your view about the same?
Most often it's yes, it is, but it's not a good perception to take and say that black albinism are the people that can, let's say, spread that, because these are disease that anyone can get it. As the CS said,
You put it very well, like the CS. Anybody can get it.
Anybody can get it.
Yes.
So it's our responsibility to follow the rules that the government has said.
Yeah.
But it's not that good to specify on people,
Yeah.
as I have said. So it's all upon keeping safe.
Clinton, have you faced these enchantments of being called Corona out here on the streets?
Yes, severally actually, and this takes us back to the issue of awareness.
Yeah.
I feel as much as we've made strides towards making sure that people are aware of what albinism really entails.
Yeah.
I feel that still people are a bit ignorant, and I believe, okay, for me, I can just base it on ignorance totally.
Yeah.
Because if people are aware of the fact that albinism is just a genetic condition and not in any way linked to the virus itself, because anybody can get it, as my colleague said. So, ideally, to me, I just think that we need to do more awareness on albinism personally, and also a lot of education needs to be done also with regards to COVID-19 and its preventive measures as well.
Wow, interesting. I will pick one very important thing that you've said, creating awareness about albinism and also trying to educate the society and demystifying all this ignorance. So that's what we want to work around, and that's why we're having this discussion on how we can go about it, and some of the things that we can do to create this awareness that is long term, and that is going to hit the nail on the head. I think that's a quote, somebody said that, yeah. So in previous discussions, as we've had with you, Clinton, and some of our colleagues at Black Albinism, we came up with a campaign called A Mask for a March campaign, where we are expecting to sell masks to raise awareness about the different social inequities that have come as a result of COVID-19. Teenage pregnancies, gender-based violence, calling persons with albinism carriers of the virus, the high rates of unemployment that's going on at the moment. So that's where I want us to deliberate and throw around 1, 2, 3 concepts that we can use. How are we designing the masks? Which approach are we going to use to reach out to the people, and which kind of messages are we going to use to like really communicate to the person who is really going through this whole situation, and perhaps see if we can spearhead some social change and get something positive out of coronavirus. What do you think, guys?
Personally, on my end, I think it's a very good initiative, considering that masks are very essential towards prevention of COVID-19. It's to me, it could be a very good way to pass messages or to educate the people on albinism as a condition, and also probably put ourselves on the map towards perhaps an equal society whereby persons with albinism are not sidelined or looked down upon,
Yeah.
or considered, like, okay, personally, I'll speak about employment opportunities. Lately, the corporate world has been trying to onboard persons with albinism, which is a very good show.
Yeah.
And we are not there yet, but hopefully.
Yeah, we are moving in the right
Yes,
direction,
yes,
but
so that's,
certainly more needs to be done.
yes. Okay, moving back to the topic of discussion, I think the masks are a very good idea to generally put our ideas on display and for the world to listen and learn.
Yeah, as my colleague has just said that that's a good idea,
Yeah.
simply because it will bring people together and make them that albinism is not, it's not good to say that albinos are not part of the people, but as one we can make it, simply because they say unity is power. So it's all about being together, and that's a good idea. And also, when it comes to, as my colleague has said, when it comes to employment, it's a good idea too, because it will create awareness that nevertheless people, the people with albinism are there. Also, them should be considered when an opportunity comes, so that they can feel that they are being recognized, and that's all.
Wow, interesting. You guys talk very passionately about about your sentiments, and I think I do agree with you, and I believe this is gonna be a smooth sailing. So we some of the most things that are coming out of this whole discussion is tackling employment, yeah, awareness creating in demystifying discrimination and all issues to do with albinism,
Yeah.
and other small nitty-gritties like gender-based violence and some of the things that we talked about initially. So which are some of the concepts that you guys think that we can work around? When we're sharing notes back and forth with Clinton, there is one he shared that we are where you say about the cold ice something.
Okay, really, the whole concept was we are indifferent, you and I,
Yeah.
just like fire and ice.
Ebu elaborate, because I really failed to grasp like the whole concept behind all.
Well, okay, from my understanding, fire is equally as destructive as ice is. So ideally, mine is to just try and bring a comparison between the two,
Yeah.
persons with albinism and people with normal skin pigmentation.
Yeah.
So ideally, what I'm just trying to say is we are both equal. I mean, once we put the albinism aside
And
look at me as a person, I mean,
yeah.
there's nothing that you can do that I cannot do. You get?
Yeah.
So ideally, that's the whole concept about behind the idea.
It's very interesting how Motec Group, the guy we are partnering with to do the graphics, how he's gonna really communicate that. I think whoever is watching, they wouldn't wait to have such a mask and wearing it on the streets and pushing the word out there. Even myself wearing it, I think I would look like a rock star. So Alan, you've honed so much about employment.
Yeah.
What are some of the ideas that you think that we can engrave, the messaging that we can engrave on these masks, yeah, so that we can push the message out there and telling people, hey, I am here. There is one I thought about, like having a person, because this project, I believe that persons with albinism or persons with disabilities, we do not belong in a cocoon. We are in an open space. Yeah, so we need to really, if we are creating awareness, we really need to involve other people. So the line of employment probably will add on to it. I was looking to have one end of the masks, let's say for the right side, we have something like I am a professional. Yeah, because people really think to this date that it's very hard to find a person with a disability who has really gone to school, yeah, and done school properly. Then on the other right of the right end of the mask have probably a person with a disability, probably a wheelchair user with the gown, with the graduation gown, yeah, the hat on. Then they have their certificate. Then they are adorned in that in the gown itself. I think that could really push the message out there and educating the people. Keep. What do you think?
According to me, what I think is that we should have, let's say at the mask, we should have a person with albinism,
Yeah.
having show a picture showcasing the skill he has on a certain profession. Let's say, for example, in camera operation,
Yeah.
even in let's say anchoring, and on the other hand. We have the person who is not of albinism having showcasing the same thing that the person with albinism is doing. So, which means it will show that even if me I can make it, why not the person with albinism also can make it?
That takes me directly back to what Clayton was suggesting.
Yeah. So it's like making making something that can bring us together,
Yeah.
and passing a message that shows that having been together, everything we can make it.
Great.
Yeah.
So, guys, I think we might be running out of time for our meeting. Probably promises to the guys who we are going to be sending the message out to. What should guys expect from a mask for a match campaign?
Okay, if I can give my 2 cents, it will be a very interesting campaign. Already we are in the process of filming adverts for the same and designing the masks, which will be coming out shortly. So you be on the lookout. There will be something that you've never seen before. I can assure you that.
I like the confidence, Mr. Videographer.
What I promise you about is that it will be a good campaign, and what I urge you is that always support us on this campaign, because we need support to make this campaign or our we need to move forward, and
Yeah.
that's all I have for now.
Yeah, and also to give to put a little bit of perspective. Probably somebody might be like, okay, everybody is selling masks. Then why are these people really focusing so much on masks? Looking with the way Clayton you put it, masks are like it's an essential thing that you're supposed to work with all the time. So we are cognizant of the fact that masks are here and they might be here to stay. So if it's something that it's very visible, then that's an opportunity as awareness creators that we should look into. And also I had a friend ask me, okay, so after selling the masks, what are you going to do with the money? Are you just going to probably go, because Mombasa was open. People are like, okay, after selling the mask, are you going to go to Mombasa, Mujivichari and all that stuff? And I was like, once we are done with selling the mask, or once you've procured your mask, then these funds are going to be channeled into to host a football match, for different football match. Because when remember back in February, Black Albinism Football Club had a couple of invitations to play football matches. One was in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. One was in Machakos. So there were a couple of them. So they had piled up. So the funds will assist the football club to go back into training once social distancing and social gatherings things have lightened up a little bit. Yeah, so the funds are going to help the team to go back to training, and also the funds are going to help the team to also participate in these tournaments that are pre-organized before COVID-19 hit. And also these social impacts of COVID-19, then they will still exist. So we'll also be using that opportunity to demystify and also provide more light about some of the side effects that were as a result of COVID-19. So whoever is watching or whoever is waiting out for a mask for a match campaign, they should wait for something very big. And as you've said, Alan, let's hope that we join hands and let's make this campaign a success. Parting shots before we call it a meeting.
Well, it's been a very enlightening conversation. We've discussed issues of importance, and moving forward, we are expecting for the campaign to kick off, and it will hit your screens in a minute.
In a minute.
Yes.
Alan, parting shots.
It's been a very good discussion, and what you will expect from us is expect more, and more yet to come.
Yeah, because at Black Albinism we say discover the greatness in me. So it's that for now. Let's go do other things and uphold our promise, bringing the campaign to the people. So thank you for showing for the meeting, and we are adjourned.